What is going on? I am Cole and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, I am going to be doing a video that I usually do every month with my good buddy, Bearded Comic Bro, and that's going to be the Bearded and Cole's cover challenge. And if you want to see what we're doing, you got to stick through this intro.
Better put the word out, get ready for the nerd out. Better put specs on, better break necks on. I cut handsome checks for my expansion sets. They call me Obi-Wan, act like you know me, son. Snap.
So it's always funny to me that I always pitch that you should wait through this video so that you can see what the subject matter is going to be. But most of you people have probably already read what is in the title, so you probably already know. But this month we are kind of late, and it's mostly 100% my fault because we planned for doing something for February for teams. The idea was that we did couples last year. Teams are similar, right? A team can still be a pairing of two, but it also includes multiple more people. I know that somebody had mentioned from the Triangle of Truth, they said we should do team ups. And while I thought personally team ups might be a little too shoehorned, and I did the pitch to Bearded that maybe we should do a teams one for this month. So sorry again that this is late, but I have been fairly busy, and with things changing, it's just taken me a lot longer to get this together. So if you want to participate in this, all you have to do is show off 10 covers. That is 10 covers that you like, that are in your collection and you own, that have to fit this team's grouping. So they don't have to have anything to do with spec. There has to be nothing to do with, you don't even have to technically like the book. This is for if you have those cover buys, this is the perfect time to show them off. One thing I want to mention too is that I will have it up here, but I just recently hit 1,000 subscribers and I'm doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. One of the things that I mentioned in that video is ways to enter, and doing a reply to this might be part of that. So make sure to go to that video and figure out what else you need to do to make sure that this entry counts to that giveaway too. So let's get on to these covers. This one is kind of weird because there was a team that I was looking for, and while I couldn't find the perfect cover that I haven't used for this team, I ended up stumbling across this and picking it for the other team that's on the cover and realized, hey, I might have missed the team that I was looking for. So we've got this Batman Ninja Turtles adventure, and here we got Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn. And if you couldn't tell, in that little fishbowl there are a bunch of little Ninja Turtles. So the team I was looking for obviously was the Ninja Turtles, but the team that kind of brought me to this cover was Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn. So this is a double teams cover, so starting hot. Next up on the teams train, we've got one of my favorite newer teams, and it's going to be the Champions. If you followed me last year, you knew that my goal was to collect most of the first appearances of the Champions, and I'm pretty sure that I have all of them, I excluded Cyclops because he's weird and doesn't really count, and I have not gotten the Miles Morales. That is one of the ones that I'm looking for this year, but I did get Kamala Khan, Sam Alexander Nova, Viv Vision, and this year I ended up getting an Amadeus Cho, thanks to my buddy Nick's Kicks and Comics. So Champions have been one of my favorite groups, and I ended up getting this Fried Pied A-OK to me from my buddy 22 Comics. So I had to show off this awesome team cover for the Champions. All right, so this next one might not be a typical team that you'd think of, but they are still a team nonetheless. And we've got Team Sun and Steel from Do a Powerbomb. I tried to show this. This is a gatefold cover. I tried to show the full thing off, but I didn't get a great image of it, so I'm going to take it off the screen and I'll have it here. If you didn't know, this was one of my favorite books of 2022, and I think a lot of people really liked it, and it follows a team of professional wrestlers as they're going through this crazy professional wrestling tournament. But that was one that I had to show off. I love that it just shows pretty much all of the teams that they go through, but also it shows them as a team. So the next team is probably one of my favorite teams, but they don't have a ton of covers that I love. But this one I thought was pretty cool. There is one that's coming out for their latest series that probably would make this, but this one I thought was pretty cool, and this is for Doom Patrol. The reason why I'm showing this cover off is it pays a homage to that Secret Wars cover with the Hulk holding up the mountain, but we've got Robot Man here holding up what seems to be some sort of a steel press, and then it's got the Doom Patrol and the weird steampunk language font. I've always loved Doom Patrol. They're just kind of wonky, and pretty much anything that Grant Morrison wrote in the late 80s, early 90s is stuff that I've kind of come to really enjoy in comics. I think when a lot of people think quintessential teams, this is one of the ones that probably come to mind. I would guess that there are a lot, but this is one of the big ones, I would say, and it is Fantastic Four. I'm not sure, I may or may not have shown this cover in the cover challenge, but I do love this. This is one that I usually bring out for both Christmas and Thanksgiving, and I have it displayed near or around where we're eating dinner because I always think it's funny that this is a cover, right? It is a cool throwback to a picture that you're celebrating a holiday, and what better way to celebrate a holiday than with your family, who is also your team. This next book is a very modern book, but I don't know. It's very simple, but I love it. And it's this Justice League number 62. This is just one of those books where it's like, this is a fairly simple cover, but I just love it, right? It is the Justice League, but you also don't see any of their faces. It's just them putting it in, right? When you think of like a team sport, you're always in the huddle. You always had to do that weird thing where you're like 1, 2, 3 team name. They're going in, they're saying 1, 2, 3 Justice League, and they're going to go take it out on some bad guys. This was a pretty all right run. This Bendis run was okay for me. It had Naomi, and I really like her as a character, so I was not super bummed out. But this is an awesome, just simple kind of cover that really showcases a team. So the thing about teams is that they can kind of be a stretch, but in the current run of Moon Knight is kind of working with a team, and this is the team. This is kind of a throwback to the original Moon Knight number 1, but it's done by David Nakayama, and I just love it. You've got Moon Knight, you've got Hunter's Moon, you got Tigra, and then, so it's just kind of this cool little team cover that technically, they're technically a team, right? They're working together for one main issue, but it was just something a little bit different, and I really wanted to show it because David Nakayama is one of my favorite cover artists, and I think this is one of his that is a lot different than what he normally does. So that's why I really like this one. So a lot of people here probably know that there is a team that is really probably my favorite team, and it is the Bat Family. And there's another recent cover that came out that really showcases the Bat Family. Great, and I just love this. Oop. I'm going to show it off this way. We've got this Nightwing number 96. This is just such a great cover because you've got the whole Bat Family kind of in here. I love that Batgirl's kind of back here in the shadows because that's sort of how she works, but it just kind of showcases them in the Brady Bunch feel, and I just really loved it. I thought, hey, let's get the Bat Family on, and this was a good way to get the Bat Family in a different way, and it's, it's a modern cover too, so I think a lot of people really dug this. This is just a standard A cover, which is a lot harder to find some days of ones that you really enjoy. As a kid who grew up in the 90s, I think that there is a team that a lot of us really love. And it is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I had to show off this cover. This is pretty new, but I just loved the way that they're doing a throwback to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cover, the number 1, and it's the Power Rangers. You've got all 6 of them there, and it's funny because it comes from a mashup of them and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I wanted to show this one off. This is also a pretty new cover, but I just loved how classic this looks. And it even references that it is after Eastman. But the Power Rangers were a team that I, as a kid growing up in the 90s, definitely loved. So we've got one more book, and I know people are saying, you've missed so many teams. And you're probably correct. It's kind of weird when you think about this. One of the things that I try and tell people as I'm doing these is that I personally try to only spend an hour looking for my book. So sometimes, I'll waste a little bit more time. I'll look at my CLZ. I'll kind of think of some teams, look up some appearances that I have for them, write down what the covers are, and then kind of go through and look. As you're looking through other bins, you kind of find other covers that maybe take it out. This is a cover that I probably never would have used, but in my putting away of comics, I found it, and I just love this. It is Uncanny X-Men number 1, but it is this sweet variant that is a wraparound, and you see the entire X-Men. So I thought this was cool. It's got some of the old ones. There's some funny stuff going on here, but it was a pretty good cover. I really enjoyed this, and it just kind of spoke to me as it was one of those ones where I was early in there doing it. But as I said, I'll probably show off the full cover here because it is cool to just see it all. But the X-Men are probably, I would say when most people think of superhero teams, I would guess that the X-Men is the first one that most people think of. I could be wrong, and let me know what comes to mind for you. I definitely probably missed some stuff. I know that I probably missed, the Super Family. There are a ton of other covers out here that you can have for different teams, and we would love to see them. So if you want to join it, all you have to do is tag Bearded and I in this. We'll add you to our playlist, and go out and find other people doing this. I think think this is one of those challenges that we really enjoy because we don't really no one has to come on at a certain time. No one has to make plans. You can just make this video whenever you want. And the one thing that I've loved, and big shout out to Actual Dracula, I'll have his stuff up here. He's one of the big ones that have been taking these and he's been just doing them later. 22 Comics is also, I'll have his stuff up here. He's also done some very later on, and I'll still try and promote those. We'll add those to the list because it's just fun to see them, right? I know that there were a lot of people that did the couples one because they didn't see one yet for February. So, you know, the cool thing about this is that it's kind of ever growing and you can kind of join in. If you just came here because you saw that I hit 1,000 and you wanted to see some of my stuff, feel free to go back into some of the backlog of those cover challenges and just find one that maybe you want to do, or maybe you just were setting some covers aside. We just really want to show off the love of comics and comic covers for fans out there, you know, just moving a positive message, and just showing off things that you love. These stories have to, you know, I don't think any of the books that I showed off have anything of relevance to value, but they were all fun covers, and that's what this is all about. And I'll mention it here one more time, just so that there are people that don't forget it. But I did mention that I am doing my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. I still have not come up with a date, but I'm guessing there will still be 2 to 3 weeks, probably at least 2 weeks left before that entry needs to be submitted. So you can use this as an entry. Just make sure you go to the 1,000 subscriber giveaway video and you hear all the instructions, because there is one specific thing that I ask you to do in that VR response. So please make sure that you go and check that out. But yeah, I just would really like to thank Bearded, because he did not yell at me for taking way longer than it normally takes me to make these. I ran into some issues where I was having audio problems, so I replaced a device to help fix some of those. And in doing so, it changed the way that I both had to edit and record my videos. So it's been a learning curve, and it's just taken me a little bit. And I also have so many comics that I need to organize before my wife continues to yell at me. So that is one thing that I have been trying to do. These are always fun. And I love that I've been looking for some of these covers while I've been sorting and organizing. As I mentioned, that Uncanny X-Men was one book that I did no intentions of adding to this, but when I pulled it out of a box, I was like, this is one that's got to be on there. So let us know what teams you love, and we would love to see these covers. As always, I have been Cole. A wise man once said, "Ride on," and peace. And I know I just said goodbye, but I've got to add a few more things here. If you haven't already subscribed, if you hit my face here, that'll just bring you right up to a link where you can subscribe. I'm going to have a playlist here. This one is for our couples challenge. And down here is my latest Mail Call Monday. You still have an opportunity to make it into that giveaway if you watch the video and answer the question in that video. Peace.